everyone, welcome back to my channel. So of course I had to come through with the highly requested product labels video. A lot of you guys were in love with the labeling that I placed on my packages, and you guys wanted to know that how I went about creating the labels. So I decided to make an in-depth video of my process, what I did, measurements, what I used to create my labels, what type of labels I use or label papers I use, etc. So we're gonna start off, I'm gonna give you my 5 steps to make this simple. And for my visual learners, later on in the video, you will see me putting these steps together so that you can physically see, okay, this is what you need to take, step 1, step 2, step 3, all that good stuff, so that you can have everything come together and you have the final product pretty much. So, obviously this is recorded after the fact, so the footage that you guys will see later on is pre-recorded. So I just wanted to be thorough. You know, some people are visual learners, some people can learn or understand something just from hearing someone talk or reading something. So I want to cater to both crowds. All right, so let's dive in. So the first step that you want to get checked off of your list when creating product labels is the packaging that you're going to use. So when I say packaging, I mean cosmetic jars, boxes, whatever it is that you're going to be using to hold your product. You want to make sure you have that final container finalized. This is what I'm using, so that you know this is what you need to measure. So for me, I have several types of containers that I use for my business. Glass, plastic, Boston round jars. It just depends on the product. Some people offer one product, some people have several. So just make sure that you're finalized on all of the jars and containers that you're going to be using for when you actually launch, so that you know, okay, this is what you need to prep for labels. For me, I took my time. Some of you guys don't know, obviously, but I took 2 years to launch, and that's because I didn't want to rush. I wanted to take my time, make sure that I was happy with certain things. And obviously, as you grow, you're going to tweak things. But I wanted to make sure that I did not rush it at all. So I went through several different types of containers until I settled on which I was going to use. And obviously over time, you know, with rebranding and stuff, I do have plans to change my packaging and everything. But this, again, is beginner friendly. I want to help those out there that are trying to start a business and they're wanting videos like this to make the process easier for them. So I'm all for dropping the knowledge and helping someone out. So step 1 off the list. All right, so step 2, what we will be doing is, now that we have finalized our packaging and everything, we are going to be doing our measurements for our labels. So the supplies you're going to need for this is a ruler, tape measure, whatever you have, something that measures, you're going to need that. Definitely need some scissors, because you're going to be trimming, sizing, all that good stuff. And you are going to need pencil, pen, whatever you have to write with, you're going to need that. I rather use a pencil because obviously you're taking measurements and you're cutting things down. You know, with a pencil you can erase or measure, you know, all that good stuff. So that's my personal preference, but use what you have, right? So with those materials, we're going to get some paper. We're going to have an estimate of, okay, if you have like a fabric measure. So if you have a tape measure, whatever you have, I recommend getting something that's more on the flexible side. So you can actually wrap it around your container, versus a ruler is usually just straight across, or it's a firm item, so you're not really able to bend it and mold it on the actual packaging. But again, you could use a regular ruler, that's perfectly fine. Whatever you have, use it. We're trying to keep this cost effective, right? So we're gonna measure out an idea of what we think maybe if you have a regular ruler, will fit perfectly on the actual jar itself. And we're gonna measure it, and you'll see later on in the video, we're gonna measure it and we're gonna just crop or cut down as we need to until we find the perfect size. A hack that I use when doing this, I have crystal cards and business cards. What I did to make this process smoother, I laid it across the container to see how much space it took up, and I kind of used that business card as my guide to help me find the perfect size label that I need. So I was like, okay, for example, this fit perfectly, but I want it to be longer, so I know that I need to add a little more length to it, right? So that's that. So now we go into step 3. All right, so with step 3, this is where Canva.com comes into play. So I personally pay for a membership with Canva. It is a free platform, but you don't get access to everything with the free profile. If you pay the $12.99 a month, you get access to other things. And because I use it so frequently, I decided to pay the $12.99 a month, right? So with that, you can literally create anything on Canva.com: business cards, thank you cards, product labels. I think I even saw shirts on there the other day, like you can customize shirts, brochures, anything that you need paper-wise for your business, you can create. I literally created my thank you cards, crystal cards, what else have I? Literally everything. It's so much that I can't even keep up, but I will insert a clip right here so you guys can see some of the projects or paper items that I put in my shipping boxes that I created with Canva.com. And like I said, I pay the $12.99 a month, but you don't have to. You could still use it as a free platform, and you can get much access to majority of the things that I use, because I don't really have much. My labels are very minimal, so the logo that's on there, I had paid a outside company to create the logo for me. So everything else is just me typing it up myself. So you don't have to pay for a membership to have access to those things, of course. So you already have your measurements now, pretty much. Once you have those measurements, the good thing about Canva is they let you customize it. So if they have templates in there that you can pick from, but if they're not the sizing that you need it to be, the top right hand corner, you'll put in your specific specs of what you need when it comes to the length, width, and height of the label or whatever you're creating, and it'll give you a blank canvas to work with. And you'll go from there, you'll design it. You can add your pictures, graphics, logo, writing, whatever you need to add to it. You can customize it however you like. Very convenient, very user-friendly. It's easy to maneuver around the site. It's not complicated at all. And that's another, I don't know about any other platforms, but that's another great thing that you want to incorporate when you're starting out your business, because it makes everything 10 times easier. And they can even print the stuff for you. I personally go to Office Depot because it's just easier for me. But they can print the stuff to you and have it delivered to your house. But it's up to you what option you want to go with. So we're on to step 4 now. In step 4 goes into, okay, we've created our labels, we've finalized on the size, we know what container we're going to be using. What we're going to start doing now is factoring in, okay, for these containers, what's going to be going inside of them? Are these, for example, I'm going to just do a comparison. For example, I have a glass container that holds body butter, but then I have a glass container that holds my candles, right? Or I should call it a vessel. The vessel, obviously, the candle vessel, obviously, it's not going to be common for somebody to be dipping in there and taking out the candle wax and just so happening to be touching the label. So that one, I don't have to stress about making the label weatherproof if I don't want to, versus the body butter. You're picking up the container, you're taking out your body butter, you're putting it all over your body, your hands are greasy, you're picking it back up. So you want to factor in, okay, are you gonna care if your customer's label gets messed up over time? And some people wouldn't care about that, but I personally didn't like it. I want you to always be able to see the label in the condition that you got it in. So starting out, I learned the lesson of, I spent hundreds of dollars on labels and everything, and then over time I realized that as the oil settled on them, they became transparent. They just weren't holding up well. It just looked cheap, and I didn't like it. So that's when I ran into onlinelabels.com, and I noticed that they had the weatherproof labels because I didn't see them on Avery.com, so I wasn't able to purchase it through there because I initially was purchasing my labels from Avery. And what I like with Avery is you can go to the store and pick up Avery from most stores, but with online labels, they're kind of restricted to an online store, which nothing is wrong with that, but sometimes when you need them urgently, it's convenient when you can just walk into a store and pick it up. So again, factor in, okay, is this an oily product? Do you want to make sure that the label can withstand, you know, heavy oils, butters, all that stuff? Factor all those things in, and then you decide from there, do you want to do the weatherproof or do you want to stick with the traditional label? Okay, so here we are, we've made it to step 5. In step 5 of creating your product labels, you are going to put all of the pieces together pretty much. So we got the jar, step 1. We got our measurements, step 2. We have our design from Canva, you know, the labels, everything, the design that we created, that's step 3. We've confirmed, okay, we're gonna use weatherproof labels, we're gonna use traditional labels, we figured that out, right? So now we've gotten our labels in the mail, or you pick them up from the store, whichever option you decide to go with. What you're gonna go into do now is, usually with Avery.com or onlinelabels.com, they have a platform built into the site that allows you to now transfer any file that you may have made. So if you already have your labels created, you can transfer that file from your computer into their system, and it'll make sure you want to make sure it's fit to scale at 100% because you don't want any bleeding. You want it to fit perfectly on the label when it prints. And then it'll print you like a template out, or give you a PDF, not even print, but it'll give you a PDF file showing you, okay, this is the layout of how it's going to look when it prints on your label paper, right? Now, what I do recommend doing when you get to this process, do not immediately start printing off the label paper. The label paper is not cheap, obviously. You don't want to be wasting the label paper. What I recommend doing is print a mock-up on just a regular standard copy paper, and you can hold it up against on top of the label paper in light with some good lighting, and you should be able to see if it lines up within all of the individual labels on the sheet. So that way you know, okay, good, perfect. It fits perfectly. I can go ahead and start printing with my label paper. So that way you're not wasting anything. Now, I do want to let you guys know with the weatherproof labels, they do need to be printed with a laser jet printer. Typically, they print better that way. Some printers, if you're not careful, and I learned that the hard way with my printer, it doesn't seal it properly. So what happens is when I print it, it starts to smear off the ink and everything. So that's why I just stay safe and I go to Office Depot. Now, over time, definitely I'll invest in a laser printer or find other options of, okay, what can I do to have my labels printed to save me the time? But for now, doing what I got to do on my end to get that taken care of. So I have notes here. So if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my notepad because I just want to make sure I touch on every detail of what I did to create my labels to help you guys out. So yeah, so once you've printed that, you've confirmed, you can start printing on your label paper, right? So now you're going to get your jar. We're going to label it up so that way everything is on there. And you want to make sure when you're printing, again, you make sure that the scale to fit is set on your printer settings as well to avoid any bleeding or avoid anything going off the page. You know, we don't want to lose any of that paper. It's not cheap. Remember, we're trying to save coins, okay? So that's pretty much it. So now what you're going to see is me going in depth about my process of, okay, I'm launching a new product. I got to create labels for it. So you're going to see from start to beginning of me, you know, getting my jars, sizing the jars, creating the labels, getting it printed and everything so that you guys understand the process. So I'm putting everything together for you, one video. You get the audio version and the visual version of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the content. If you have any questions, again, feel free to let me know in the comment section down below, and I will be more than happy to answer those for you. Again, this is my journey. I'm not a professional in any way, shape, nor form, but this is what worked for me, and I'm sure that my experience can help someone else. And yeah, if you are in the comment section and you have a business of yourself, of your own, and there's any feedback that you can give not only me but anyone that may be watching and that may be scrolling through the comments, feel free to leave it in the comment section down below. And yeah, we're all helping each other out, guys. Good morning. It is Tuesday and we have work to do. So in this video, I'm actually gonna show you guys how I measure out my labels for all of my cosmetic jars, because I was like, I'm here making this and not thinking that there may be somebody else that is trying to figure out how they should size their labels for their jars. So I'm coming out with a jelly mask and I don't have a label made for that one yet. So I am going to show you guys how I measure it, what worked for me, and I'm sure that this will help out a lot of people, where I go to purchase my labels. And then we're gonna make the jelly mask along with the other products that we will be launching on the site as well. So let's go ahead, let's go into the office and let's get started. All right, so in this clip here, guys, this is pretty much step 1 and step 2, which is finalizing our jars and measuring out our labels. So as you can see here, I have a face mask kit card that I'm using to kind of just eyeball and get an idea of the size label that I want to go with. You don't have to use this if you don't want to. You can use just regular copy paper. And even if you don't have an actual ruler at home, you can even print a ruler off of Google. Or you can get a singer's tape measure from Walmart, Target. Anywhere where they have a sewing section, you will be able to find that there to measure out your cosmetic jars so that you can get your measurements down packed for that. So now we're going to get started. We're going to use our ruler, line out the measurements that we need to line out, and we're going to go in and get our scissors and we're going to cut everything out. Once we do that, we're going to go ahead and just play around with it on the jar just to make sure it fits perfectly and figure out if we need to add, if we need to cut some off. And once we finally find a size that we're happy with, we're going to measure and document it just like you see me doing here on the paper, so we know, okay, we need it to be 3.5 inches wide, so now we need to figure out the perfect length for that as well. Okay, so as you're going to see later on, you're going to see that I'm going to cut it down a bit lengthwise until I find a size that I am content with. So again, if you guys have any questions about this process, leave it in the description box down below. It's very simple, very easy. All of the supplies that you need to do this, you can find at home.
Good day in my mind, safe to take a step out. Yes, I'm in now, let your edge out. To some iceberg, you'll be heavy in my mind. Can you get the heck out? I need rest now, got me bummed out. You, baby, baby, baby. I've been on my empty mind, shit. I should've keep from losing the best of me. I will be that I wasted the best of me. Oh, you baby, you don't care. Not trying to be a nuisance, it's just urgent. Trying to make some similar change, got me a war in my mind. Gotta let go of Wayne, think he was holding me. Too sweat, but it will pick up in front of me. All the while, trying to wave my arm and feel it is now. Still wanna try, still believe in good days. Always inside, good days in my mind. Always on my feet.
All right, guys, so we have finalized a size that we are happy with for our labels. So now we are on canva.com. As you can see here, I was placing my measurements up at the top right hand corner there of the screen on the welcome page. And once you do that and you hit you submit, you'll be brought to your blank canvas that you can then work with. So I'm going in, I'm adding my logo, and then I'm going to add my fonts and all that good stuff. You're going to see me bounce back and forth between screens to copy and paste certain information so I don't have to type it. So as you can see on my labels, I usually put where they were made and distributed, sizing, and I try to keep all the font the same. So to all my fellow business owners out there, don't feel like you have to pay an arm and a leg to have someone make your logos and make your labels and make your business cards. You can literally come to canva.com and get all of that done here yourself. There's so much things that they offer in the site. You can even get them printed through here if you'd like to. I've gotten stuff printed through them too. If I need stuff quickly, then I'll usually go to Office Depot. But business cards, merch, if you need t-shirts made, pens, letterheads, they have everything in here. So, and it's free. I pay $12.99. You don't have to pay the $12.99, but I choose to pay the $12.99 a month to have access to certain things. But if you don't want to pay the $12.99, you don't have to. But just know that there's platforms out there that you can use to save on the cost of having to get things printed and pay someone to do the artwork for you for your labels and stuff like that. So as you can see, I created this all by myself. And now here we are. We're at the final product. Got my directions on there, ingredients, product name, all that good stuff. And this literally took me less than 10 minutes to make. And you see how simple and easy it was for me to maneuver through the app. So definitely, you guys, canva.com is going to be for you on your entrepreneurship journey. Then when you get to that stage where you want to have someone print your labels and all that good stuff for you, you do that. But starting out, Canva is the way to go. All right, guys, it is label ordering time. So now that we have the template for our label made, we have our measurements for what we need our labels to be to fit perfectly on our cosmetic jar. We're gonna go to onlinelabels.com. I'm gonna insert a clip here so you guys can see, because I wanted to be interactive on the scene. So when you get to onlinelabels.com, you will be greeted with the main page, okay? They do offer for you to upload your artwork and they print the labels for you. But like I said, we're trying to save coins here. We don't need to do all that, okay? So I usually go to blank labels, as you can see, and it'll give you the option to select roller or sheet labels. I usually do the sheet labels. I've never tried the roller labels out before, but maybe one of these days I'll try them out. You are then going to have the option to select the sizes, like the standard sizes that they have on the site, but we're doing a custom size. So it's going to give you the option to enter the exact measurement that you need. I personally go with the weatherproof labels only because when they get wet, if anything like oil or anything hits them, they still go back to their natural form. When I just launched, I didn't use weatherproof labels, and for example, like my skin defense serum, when the oil got on the label just looked saturated in oil, and I didn't like that look. I still wanted it to maintain the stability, the thickness, I didn't like that. So I was like, okay, so what can I do to avoid that happening? So then I found online labels, and they had the weatherproof labels. So then you have the option if you want rounded, square, oval, all that good stuff. So you customize it to your liking. And then we're pretty much gonna check out at this point. It's $38.99 for the 70 labels that I'm getting. And yeah, and their shipping is pretty fast as well. Anytime I've ever ordered from Online Labels, I got it within 2 business days. I don't know if they have a location in Florida, but that's usually the turnaround time when it comes to their shipping. So yeah, I hope that helped. Let's go ahead and jump into the next segment of the video, which is making the product so that we can fill up the jars.
Good day in my mind, safe to take a step out. Yes, I'm in now, let your edge out. Toss some iceberg, you'll be heavy in my mind. Can you get the heck out? I need rest now, got me bummed out. You, baby. I've been on my empty mind, shit. I should've keep from losing the best of me. I worry that I wasted the best of me. Oh, you baby, you don't care. Not trying to be a nuisance, it's just urgent. Trying to make some similar change, got me a war in my mind. Gotta let go, Wayne think he was holding me. Too squat, but I will wake up in front of me. All the while, I'll wait my heart will feel it is now. Still wanna try, still believe in good day, love. Always inside, good day, love, my mind, always my mind fears my limitations. I disappear if you live, feeling like Jericho, feeling like Joey lost his shit. Gotta hold my own, my first to bed alone. I do play to kill the fool.
All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed watching me prepare my new product for my site. So we officially got our package from Online Labels. I did go ahead and get the labels that we made on canva.com printed. Let me just show them to you guys so you can see how they look. And again, with these, I got them weatherproof as well, so you can see the difference. The font is kind of small, but I'm not concerned about that because every face mask kit that I sell comes with a little mini card as well. I'll insert a clip of that here so you guys can see. And it comes with the spatula, the application brush and everything with the instruction card as well. And I'm currently in the process of working with a graphic designer to create boxes for all of my cosmetic jars so that they just have a fresh off the shelf look. So, I'm trying to branch off, and I've been trying to get my products in Target and Publix, which if you're in Florida or like the southern region or of the West Coast, you're familiar with, not the West Coast, the East Coast. Sorry, guys. You're familiar with Publix and those places. So I'm just trying to start the rebranding process of my business. That's going to be a separate video by itself, so I'm not going to go too in-depth in this video about that process and how it's been going so far. But yeah, so I wanted to show you guys the difference between the weatherproof and the just the standard label. So this is for the turmeric jelly mask. And then, for example, I can show you guys these. Here is another weatherproof label. These are for my Amethyst Dream body butter, and you can see the difference. It's just like, it has a glossier look. You could tell that it has like vinyl over it. And like I said, it makes a major difference, especially with your body butters, because weeks go by, water, anything hits them, and they're still gonna keep the same, what's the word? I don't think it's they're still gonna hold up and look like you just received it, haven't opened it yet or any of that. So that's why I like to use these with products that are gonna be in water or gonna come in contact with oil. Now for my candles, I use the standard labels for those. So here are how these look. As you can see, they're more matte. Let me see if I have any that's like a full page. I don't. I have to get more of these printed. But yeah, they're more matte. They don't have that glossy look to them. And what else do I want to add about these? And I think my herbal foot soak and my Camarose tea bath, I also put the standard labels on those too because they're not going to come in contact with oil or water. Each of those, usually when they're purchased, they come with the wooden scooper that's inside the bag, and they come with a little cotton pouch. So I didn't think it was necessary to put weatherproof labels on those, but I am in the process of changing the packages for those as well. I just haven't figured out what kind of packaging I want to do for that come next year. So I'm still in the process of doing my research on that as well. So anyways, guys, we're going to go ahead and get the new labels on the turmeric jelly mask, and then we're going to wrap it up. That's pretty much step 5. Is the final product with the labels and everything. So yeah, let's get started.
Good day in my mind. Safe to take a step out, get some air now, let your edge out. Toss some iceberg, you'll be heavy in my mind. Can you get the heck out? I need rest now, got me bummed out. You, baby, baby, baby. I've been on my empty mind, shit. I should've keep from.
So we are officially complete. Here's the final product. One, I have sealed with my wrap. This is the same wrap that I use for my soaps. I just do this for just an extra layer of protection. Obviously, I want to keep the product as secure as possible while it's in transit to my customer. Again, these will be coming with a application brush and a spatula. So now I have to get prepared for Chelsea. She's my product photographer, to come and take photos of all the new stuff that I'm adding to the site. I'm also adding a hemp seed soap as well, and some loofah soaps. And yeah, I am excited. I've been using this product for months. I've had my sisters using this product as well, and they love it. I love it, and I know you guys are gonna love it too. And yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed making this video. I don't know why it would just, you guys will see in the detail. But listen, I am so happy that I was able to share my experience, my knowledge, and what I've learned on my journey with you guys. I hope that I've given you all the information that you need to be successful on your entrepreneurship journey. And if there is anything that you would like to see me do or make or explain or go over in another video, please feel free to leave it in the comment section down below. And I'll definitely put it on a list of video ideas that I can work on for you guys, because I realize that you guys have been loving this content, and I'm more than happy to give you guys what you want. So anyways, it is late. Your girl is tired. I need to go get some rest. So I'm gonna go ahead and close out the video. Please remember to hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on your post notifications so that you will be notified for future uploads. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.